What's up? This is Nick, head coach of the Cerulean City Psyducks, coming at you with the battle between the Viridian City Volcaronas this week. Here's trainer Kate Golem, Greg, bringing out that goon. So I made some mistakes this battle. So this one, I saw that he was bringing the girder along, but I was like, whatever. I'm still gonna lead with my Alolan Persian because you know that's a great idea. And then I just go for the fake out there because easy damage, kind of checks to see what type of item they might be using, see if he's healing up. Obviously he wouldn't be. And then I bring in the Grand Bull because I know Grand Bull can take a hit from this thing, so you can take fighting moves, also drops the attack, and then it's going to scare him away as well just because there's the threat of fairy type moves, and if he didn't do any type of defensive build, it doesn't look too good for him. So he switches out and brings in this stupid piece of shit. Which I hit with a Thunder Wave, which that wasn't a bad move on my part. I was expecting he was gonna switch out, so I was hoping I could get a paralysis off on somebody. So this Roserade really threw me off because I was using a damage calculator during this battle, just to kind of try and check some things, see what I might be able to survive and such. And this Sludge Bomb hit for just over 50% health. I'm like, okay, if it's got a special attacking build, that may have just been a low damage roll that got it there. So I was assuming a special attacking set. So that was the assumption I was running off of in this battle. So right there I got a lucky confusion off with the Hurricane. And then I decided to take Mushmouth back because I know he'll die to an electric attack if one comes out. So then I bring in Illuminati, the Magneton, because I'm like, I know he can take anything from this thing. Not too worried, and he can kill it back pretty quick, but also he's good for anybody else who comes into him. Whatever he might throw out can do pretty good damage, especially considering I've got the Rain up. So the Thunder that I brought along this week instead of just Thunderbolt is guaranteed to hit. So he brings Goon back in, and this guy very quickly gets just blasted with this Thunder. With a nice bit of damage. Nice big old chunk, and unfortunately I do have that burn, which that's something that does end up just slowly taking Magneton down throughout the fight. Because he was rocking an EVO light, so that boosted defense is nice. And I just decided to go for that Thunder again because, hey, I've got the Rain up, so it's not going to miss, so why not? So then Goon faints. He didn't really do much this battle. A little bit of damage to Illuminati, but that was about it. So then he sends out Ophelia Haney, the Azelf, and it sets up its Stealth Rocks. I was hoping he would lead with this like he did in our last battle, but that was a very stupid assumption of mine, and he does not lead with it. But this Volt Switch does some heavy damage to it, which was very nice. So I bring in my Swampert, because I'm like, okay, I got some more turns of Rain. I can get him Mega. I might be able to just kill a couple things really quick, gain some ground. So he does not switch out, and I go Mega right here. This activates the Swift Swim ability on Mega Swampert, so he's now just faster than pretty much everything. And I just use the Waterfall because, stab damage, just do it. As much damage as you can. So then, back comes out the Lamatador, and this thing, since I was assuming it had some type of special attacking build, I'm like, okay, I can use an Earthquake, and this thing should drop pretty easily. But as we can see, I was wrong. I talked to Greg after fact, this was a very bulky, zero special attack investment Roserade. So it just did pretty damn good damage on that Sludge Bomb against Pelipper. So bad assumption on my part led to losing my my all-star Mega Swampert right there. So I bring in Duke Silver because I'm like, oh, I'm alright. Someone who might be able to take an attack from this thing, maybe. Do my fake outs. Yeah, just chip damage. That's really all it's good for. It gives me a free turn, give myself a little bit of health back, and just, you know, not die, hopefully. And this next turn I use what I had prepared to bring just in case he brought Leavanny, who might try and set up that Sticky Web to slow me, Sticky Web to try and slow my team down with a Hidden Power Fire right there. And then this Sleep Powder just buries Duke Silver. Doesn't his saxophone skills don't really matter much when he's fast asleep. So he gets back up to full health, which is nice. And LeMatador's looking kind of hurt, so if I had woken up immediately and gotten really lucky, I may have been able to take this thing out before it was able to gain any headway. But it Giga Drains for about half of my health. This was just one of those things where he was just getting really good damage rolls with this thing. It was doing really good damage the whole fight and was just ripping me apart left and right. Especially those Giga Drains were hitting so hard and just healing it up every time. So if I'd woken up here, I still think I might have had a chance to kill it. But it just doesn't have, actually that Sludge Bomb would have killed me, but I still would have done damage if I had woken up. But yeah, that sleep really just kicked my ass right there. And he's almost back at full health again, so not good for me. So here I bring in Punch Blank because I'm like, okay, here's someone who can dish some damage, might be able to survive an ill-placed attack, but my Stone Edge misses, which sucks, and the Sludge Bomb comes out and just destroys me. So that was sad as well. So bad accuracy, bad lead, and bad assumption on what type of set it was. So in comes Grand Bully, kind of just, I don't know, I was thinking maybe might be able to survive a hit, do some damage, do something. But it slings out that Sludge Bomb, and since I wasn't running a really defensive build this week because this Grand Bull was built to take on Mawile, it just goes down really quick. Sometimes I'll run an Assault Vest on Grand Bull, but I did not this week because, like I said, I built Grand Bull to take on Mawile and take it down, but that didn't end up happening. So here he switches, which I guess is kind of, thanks dude, you didn't beat the ever-living shit out of me. And he brings in the Chiron Black, which I was pretty happy about this because Chiron Black, like Magneton was my hard counter for it, so as you can see I almost one-hit KO'd him right there. But he could have stayed in and he would have been fine because he would have outsped me and could have killed me with pretty much any of his attacks. But he withdraws and brings in the Mawile, who my Grand Bull is no longer on, which was a bit unfortunate. But I did go for the Volt Switch, which does a nice big old chunk of damage, I was like, okay, cool, I'll take it. And then I bring in Mushmouth because he's just a dude. Gets stuff done. Takes a lot of damage from those stones, but he sets up that rain, which is a little bit helpful. Gives him power to his Scald, and this turn I expected a Sucker Punch from it just because I was at such low health. So I was like, well, if he goes for the Sucker Punch, I'm going to go for Roost, and it's going to fail, like it does, and I get some health back. And then the next turn, I think there was enough defense built into my Pelipper that he could take a Sucker Punch. So this turn I do go for the attack, and take the Scald plus boosted damage in the rain is enough to take out the Mawile. So I did end up taking out, I think, 3 of his at the end of this fight, but not really enough at the end of the day, because he took out 6 of mine. So at this point I'm like, I don't feel like taking an electric attack and just dying outright, so we'll bring in Illuminati, let him take this Volt Switch, which he will survive, and like I said, I was expecting something like that, so I was like, I don't want to just throw Pelipper away to a super effective electric move. 4 times effectiveness hurts really bad. And then the Roserade just comes back in and heals up the last bit of its health, goes back up to full health for I think the 2nd time, 3rd time throughout the battle, something like that. And I'm just at low health, so this Giga Drain, even though it's not very effective, it just does enough damage to kill me. Even through the Eviolite and the resisted damage, it's still enough to get the job done. So then I bring in the last one, Mushmouth, and he takes a whole bunch of damage from those stones, and I think if he had a little bit more health at the end of this, I might have been able to kill Roserade with an Hurricane, but that is not the result we see. I do lose against Greg. It was well thought. He definitely planned a lot better than I did. He made a lot better choices than I did. So kudos to him. Next week I will be facing off against the week 10, the Puzzle City Pikipek. So Jake, our resident Dr. Coach Jacob Andrews, I'll be facing off against him, so that should be a fun one. So, thanks for tuning in. We will see you in Week 10. Goodbye.